within 15, 20 minutes, someone can release a trauma, like a physical ailment. Like it can be used for physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Now, obviously, legally as a caveat, we can't claim we heal or cure anything. But in my personal experience as a student of Candice's as well, because I attended the classes, is I can testify to very rapid results. So if you're a healer and a coach, this is something that you guys can use remotely. So if you're currently like a massage therapist and you're looking for something that you can do online with people, this is perfect. The training takes 2 days, guys. Within 2 days, you are fully accredited and certified to do this with your clients. And it's for a wide variety of things. So Candice has been in the healing arts for like how many years now, Candice?
Oh, I've been doing the coaching and healing for it's almost like 15 years, but I've been helping people for like 25 years and just building on my toolkit. But this is the best thing I've had in my toolkit, I have to say. Yeah.
Well, there you go. You guys are going to be in really good hands with Candice. So today's intention is this is going to be an interactive, practical workshop. This is our intention for today. So today's focus is on anxiety, stress, overwhelm, depression, right? We're going to be starting to clear some of this chaos energy to bring in a sense of calm and centeredness. And we know that when we are calm and centered, we make better decisions, right? We show up very differently versus when we're in panic and overwhelm and stress. So today you're going to learn some very basic, simple tools as the foundationals of silent counseling, but I'm sure Candice at the end will share more in depth about how you can take this a bit further and getting trained up as a silent counseling practitioner, so you can do it for yourself on a much deeper level and for your clients. It's quite a comprehensive modality. There is some overlaps in terms of like muscle testing with theta healing, but it is I love it because it's so simple, it's so powerful, it's so fast, anyone can do it, and I love that the person doesn't have to talk about their problem. So before I kind of hand over to Candice, I want to share something which has been my thoughts and my ideas about the healing industry or the healing arts since kind of exiting out of theta healing. So what I find for a lot of healers is they get stuck in talking about the problem over and over and over again. They come from the class to class to class to class. Like, I thought I healed this. I thought I dealt with this. And the more you talk about the problem, the more you're creating the problem. So I love theta healing. Don't get me wrong. I love theta healing. But I feel the drawback of a lot of talking therapies is the more you talk about the problem is the more you're manifesting more of the problem. I guarantee you that if you dig on the issue of, like, say, for example, your money blocks, you'll be digging for the rest of your life, because you'll always find reasons for why you're not making the money, or for why you've got the anxiety, or for why you go into overwhelm, right? There'll be a million and one reasons. And so what I love about silent counseling is this: you don't have to talk about the problem, right? Because you're not recreating it every time you talk about it. You face it and you heal it, and then you move on, and then you take the action. So you're moving forward without the baggage of the old story. You're no longer like glorifying it or edifying it or like a badge of honor or a martyr, like, oh, I'm the wounded, I'm the wounded person, like he did this to me, she did this to me, my mother, my father, my husband, my boyfriend, they did this to me. And sometimes what can happen is we start to identify with our trauma. Silent counseling, you don't even have that conversation. There is no glorification of your trauma. It's like, yes, we honor you and the journey and struggle you've been through, but it's for those who are ready to heal quickly, this is fantastic. This is why I love silent counseling, is you don't have to talk about the problem in order to heal it. Candice, do your magic.
So, as Anna said, my name is Candice Wilson. I'm a business and lifestyle transformational coach, global ambassador for silent counselling. So that's what I want to work on with you tonight. I want to help you overcome all these difficulties, all these challenges that are stopping you shining your light, because they're all part of the saboteur. And the saboteur, as you'll know, the saboteur, well, I'm saying that as if everybody knows about the saboteur. If I'm honest, I'd heard the self-saboteur, I'd heard the self-sabotage, and it was only when COVID struck and I spoke to a coach and I was making all these excuses, and this coach says to me, Candice, I think you're sabotaging. And it was like suddenly I heard this. I started looking up sabotage, and I could not believe how much my life I'd spent in self-sabotage at all areas. My marriage, every area of my life I'd recognised I'd sabotaged. Every time something wonderful was about to happen or something wonderful was happening, something would get in the road. What I do recognise now is that is all blocked energy. It's all energetic. You're out of alignment. So if you're not believing in yourself, there's energetic blocks there that are stemming from the past, connected to past life events. So if you take your right hand, so we're always working with bringing the energy in from the right. So the right is a given hand. So if you take your right hand over to the left, and in here, you might find a little sore spot. You should probably find a little sore spot. And it's just like, it's almost like a buildup of energy in this area. So if you go into this little sore spot and just touch it gently, all you're doing is touching it gently. And if you touch that, hopefully everybody can find theirs. If you touch that and then just breathe in gently, I want you to think about tension and anxiety, because this is where we store tension and anxiety. So if you go to this little spot and just breathe in gently through your nose, and out through your mouth, you're releasing that tension and anxiety. So we're blowing it away. Good. And again. Let it go. And one more time. Let it go. Good. Good, good. And I want you just to go under here and think of that, whatever it is, whether you're procrastinating, whether you've got imposter syndrome, whether you've overwhelmed, self-doubt, fear of failure, whatever it is, I want you to kind of just connect to that emotion, whatever it is that's holding you back, that self-doubt, overwhelm, connect to that emotion, breathe it in and acknowledge it. And then let it go. Just blow it away. Wonderful. Wow. We're releasing a lot here. Let it go. Connect with it again. And let it go. For under the nose chat, we're focused on self-doubt, we're focused on lack of trust. So what's the highest one? That vulnerability, fear of moving forward. So if you go there with any of them, just go with the one that's the highest for you and connect to it. Whatever one's holding you back the most, connect with it, breathe it in. And then let it go. And again. Good. And then you're just going to tap. And in here, this is where we store embrace and change. So I want you just to connect to the feeling that you would like to have. So whatever, I want you to think about what your title is or what you aspire to be. So for me, I used to tap in. I'm an amazing silent counselling global ambassador, making my impact all over the world. And guess what? I'm an amazing silent counselling global ambassador, making an impact all over the world. So I want you to type in what it is that you desire. You're typing in that desire. And if you feel this tingly, this is because it's where we're storing, holding back from changing, making these changes. So we want you to think about whatever it is that you desire, starting with I am, the most powerful words in the world. So starting with I am, and visualize as if it's in the now. I am an amazing silent, I am an amazing practitioner, I'm an amazing healer, I'm amazing, whatever it is, making your impact wherever it is you want to make your impact. Are you ready to let this stuff go? Who's ready to let this go? Are you going to think about this is happening for you, or this is happening to you. Yeah, good. We've got, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Love it, love it, love it. Yes, please. I'm letting it all go now. Wonderful. I am ready. Okay. So we know that you're all in polarity. So what I'm going to take you to now is the collarbone. And the collarbone, in the collarbone, this is where we store fear. It's fear, it's isolation, it's fight or flight, survival. It's that kind of like that absolute rigid fear, primal fear. Sorry, that's me burping. So sometimes when you're doing the silent counselling, you might burp, you might feel emotional. So emotions might come up. Please allow the emotions to come up. Let them come up and release, because they're coming up for a reason. Okay, so if I work with online clients, they will be scheduled for a whole month, and it scares me. And this is, thanks for sharing that, this Delara. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but this is one of the things. A lot of my clients, they'll say, what is success? And they'll say, I want to be successful. I'll say, what does success mean? And a lot of them will say, oh, it's overwhelming. Oh, I'm scared. Oh, it means everybody's going to want a bit of me. I've not got any more to give. So sometimes we've got this desire to have something amazing that actually we've got an inner conflict with. So I want you to go here and think about whatever it is that you're fearing most. So we're now letting all that stuff go. I want you to connect to that fear of, I might be too busy. I might have people wanting too much of me. I can't stand up and talk to people. I might be on my own. I want you just to connect to that, the loneliness, isolation, fight or flight, any of that, just connect it. Wow, there's a lot coming up here. We're going to breathe that in. Acknowledge that emotion. It's important that you acknowledge it. And now let it go. Just one short breath out, one long breath out.
Like, it's a technique that can be used for all manner of things, And I felt the relief. The moment I started to feel the breath, I got instant relief. The moment I kind of focused my attention on where the energy was blocked and stuck, I didn't have to go into the story and why is this happening? Where did it start? I could just do the breath, and then it was just like gone. It was gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, Candice has popped her email in there for you guys, so you can email her if you've got any specific questions. But really, can you see how this might be really like a wonderful tool as an add-on to what you're already doing? You can do this online with your clients around the world. So you could do these as group events. You could do this as one-to-ones. This could be at the end of a session. If you're doing a coaching session or a healing session, it could be where someone's really stuck in resistance and you haven't been able to help them make that shift because they can't really pinpoint where it came from or what the story is. And the story is actually not important. You're just clearing the energy, clearing the blockage. And then once you do that, the person starts to think differently, they start to feel differently. So I love it. I'm so excited. As Candice mentioned, I did, obviously she was my coaching client of mine, and I could really see the potential of this modality, and it's gonna grow rapidly. So yeah, it is still a very, very low price. But yeah, within 2 days, guys, you get fully certified and accredited, so you can use this for yourself. Can you see how kids might love this?
Yeah, that's
like when I, ask my kids, and how did it make you feel? And what's the worst thing? They're like, they don't want to talk about it, right? But this is something like if the child's about to do a test or an exam, you can do this in the car just before they're about to go to school. They do the rubbing, they do the soft spot if they're getting stressed or anxious, if they're being bullied or they feel like the teacher's upset with them, they can rub their little spot under the table. No one needs to know. If you're about to go into an exam or into an interview, you're rubbing your spot, you're rubbing, the collarbone, right? And it's anywhere, anytime as well. Like, you don't need pendulums or the planets to be in alignment. Like, anywhere, anytime, it goes with you. So I love this for like
sports performance. Performance, it's amazing for sports performance as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love it. So I think what'd be nice while we're waiting for some questions to come in is, Candice, please share some of like the biggest, I guess, breakthroughs you've had with clients. Like, give some examples of, because obviously we've done this kind of we've done like a webinar before, but this was a really more of a workshop, and we had a few people share some amazing testimonials, and I'd love for you to kind of share a couple of examples of people that have been really, really helped with silent counseling.
Yeah, so I would say my biggest success is one woman, an amazing woman who had a 17-year methadone addiction. She worked with psychiatrist, psychologist, mental health nurse, CPN, community psychiatric nurse, and an addictions worker. And every single one of them told her she would never be able to come off the methadone. Every single one. And she was on methadone not because she was a heroin addict. It was that her mother kept giving her painkillers so the dad could abuse her. It was a horrific story, and it was horrific. But everybody told her. She said it was much easier to get more medication and get higher medicated. And every time she would go and ask for something to take her, reduce her, they would give her, say, you're getting more anxious because you're coming off, we'll give you more to calm you down. It was unreal. And so she was fighting against it, and she kept saying to me, I'd love to come off this. And we worked together using silent counselling, and we worked for about 6 months because it had to be staged, because we had to then work with workers. You couldn't just come off that overnight. So we worked for 6 months, and she, just before COVID, she come off, and she managed all the way through COVID without having to take any drugs, and she's now just become a granny. So I would say that's one of my biggest success stories. The one that makes me really, because she had given up on herself and everybody else had given up on her. So for to see her, the shame that she carried, all the stuff going in to have to get the methadone and all that, and she was a beautiful, beautiful woman. She is a beautiful, beautiful woman. She's going to talk for me. I'm going to get that videoed. I need to do that soon. It's just a fantastic story. So I'm going to get her with her grandchild. Lots of people with fibromyalgia. We've managed to come into one of the groups before, Anna. Lots of people that have had fibromyalgia. One of my clients, she was only in her late 30s, was the week before I started working with her, she was going to get fitted for her wheelchair. And we worked together for 6 weeks. And she started sending me WhatsApp messages, and it was her Fitbit steps, normally doing over 20,000 steps a day. She's now a full-time waitress, like running about crazy, and that was 6 weeks of silent counselling. Again, I've been so bad, there's so many things come in, I keep trying to we need to capture all these, but so many people with fibromyalgia, so many people with severe pain. One woman, she come on my training, one of the very first people that come on my training, and she was on 18 tablets a day for anxiety, for depression, for panic attacks, for all the different stuff. One session, she said, this has changed my life. And she said to me, she'd had a 2-week holiday. She come back and she said, the only tablets I need are my tramadol for my broken back. That's the only thing that's still left, is I take tramadol for my broken back. So she says, you're not going to be able to help me with that, will you? And I said, well, let's check. So to cut a long story short, her broken back was actually what had happened. She'd fell in the bath, she'd fell against the bath, broke her back, and at the same time had a miscarriage. And so she was storing all these emotions connected to the miscarriage. Once we released emotions connected to the miscarriage, the broken back pain went. She stopped taking tramadol after that session. She never needed to take it again. So there is so many. She had been going for tests for 3 years for no feeling in her thumb. They thought it was carpal tunnel, and she had no feeling in any of her nerve endings. And one session, all that come back. Honestly, lots and lots of frozen shoulders, lots of back pain. Absolutely. I mean, it's such a gift. I cannot tell you how much of a gift this is. And this is not because I'm magic. Every single thing I'm able to do here, that's what my clients are sharing with me in their case studies. They're sharing. One of my clients just tonight sent her case studies in just before I come on. And she says, Candice, she says, you've changed my life. She says, I feel like I've got my life again. And she says, but the impact my clients are having, she's one of my clients wanted to give up, and I says to her, go and have one session with me. Please don't give up on yourself. Have one session. She says, and the clients just messaged me saying, you've gave me my life. So I know that this is not just because I've got this magic in me. I could share this with each and every one of you. And wherever you are, whether you're a sports therapist, whether you're a food nutrition, you can use it to help people test for what foods are good for them. You can help them release anything if they've got a food intolerance. You can help them release that food intolerance. You could create a diet for people. If you're a nutritionalist, you can help people create a diet. You could take it so far. It really is endless. It's just, there's so many areas, as you say, from children, working with children, I've got people that are going into prisons, we're working on programs to go into prisons, into education, into just, like, if you can imagine, how many prisoners are in prison because of unresolved emotions, trauma, etc. So for them to be able to express that and to go, I worked with one guy and he'd been in jail 4 times, and he said, if I'd discovered this, I would never went back into jail. He's now got a full-time job doing amazing. I think he's actually set up his own business now. Because he said, we never get taught what to do with these emotions, and the guys didn't want to talk about emotions in prison. But he sort of saying, this stuff's just unreal. So it could go from we taught, so from 5 up. You could also work with animals. So if you're working with animals, you can also work with animals, because you just tap into the owner, muscle test the owner, and you can do that as well. I can't think of anywhere it doesn't fit apart from allergies. And I've trained lots and lots of theta healers now. Since meeting Anna, we've trained a number of theta healers, and a lot of the theta healers say they love having the simplicity to pull on the theta healing. What I find is, because people have got the theta healing, so they're connected to source. So a lot of your clients using the silent counselling and the knowledge of the connected to source with the theta healing, we're able to take people back many lives, and release a lot of witch wounds, a lot of past life wounds. Like one the other day, it was a nun, and some of them are being like gypsies at markets, and that's all coming up, which is all stopping people living the life that they desire today. And so you're able to do that as well. I cannot tell you just how excellent it is.
Amazing.
So, thank you very much, everybody, for staying.